I thank you so very much for joining me today. This is God's boy Emmanuel, your host of the Guest Chamber podcast. I am so excited to have you in the chamber today. I'd like to remind you to check out our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. You can search out the Guest Chamber podcast on Facebook and YouTube. Follow, like, leave a comment, and subscribe to it. We will be glad to have you there. You can see the link to the podcast on every episode that we post. Today, I'd like to read from the book of 1 Kings chapter 3 from verse 16 to verse 28. And I'll read from the New International Version. It says, "Now 2 prostitutes came to the king and stood before him. One of them said, 'Pardon me, my lord. This woman and I live in the same house, and I had a baby while she was there with me. The third day after my child was born, this woman also had a baby. We were alone. There was no one in the house but the two of us. During the night, this woman's son died because she lay on him. So she got up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side while I, your servant, was asleep. She put him by her breast and put her dead son by my breast. The next morning, I got up to nurse my son, and he was dead. But when I looked at him closely in the morning light, I saw that it wasn't the son I had born.' The other woman said, 'No, the living one is my son. The dead one is yours.' But the first one insisted, 'No, the dead one is yours. The living one is mine.' And so they argued before the king. The king said, 'This one says, my son is alive, and your son is dead, while the one says, no, your son is dead, and mine is alive.' Then the king said, 'Bring me a sword.' So they brought a sword for the king. He then gave an order, 'Cut the living child in two, and give half to one, and half to the other.' The woman whose son was alive was deeply moved out of love for her son, and said to the king, 'Please, my lord, give her the living baby. Don't kill him.' But the other said, 'Neither I nor you shall have him. Cut him in two.' Then the king gave his ruling, 'Give the living baby to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is his mother.' Then all Israel had the verdict, and king had given. They held the king in awe, because they saw that he had wisdom from God to administer justice." What an amazing story we see here in 1 Kings chapter 3. And I think it is one of the most popular Bible stories that we know about these two women and the judgment that Solomon gave. Today, I'd like to talk to you in the chamber on the topic, don't kill your child. Don't kill your child. Now, penultimate week, we talked about the wisdom of Solomon. Solomon had asked God for nothing other than a discerning heart to be able to administer justice. And it was not long after that a situation presented itself to him. These two women came before him. One of them laid on his son and killed him in the night, and she exchanged her dead son with the living son of her roommate. There was no witnesses. No one could tell whose child it was. And now Solomon was to give judgment. Folks, if God commits anything into your hands, don't be careless with it to the extent that you kill it. Don't be so careless in your sleep that you kill your child. And your child can be an idea that God has given you, can be a gift that God has given you, can be a vision that God lays in your heart. A lot of Christians are so careless in their sleep that they lay over their child, their ideas, their vision, their gifts, and the things that God has committed into their hands until it dies off. And so this woman, she laid on her child in her sleep and she killed her child. And then was still, she exchanged her dead child with the living child of her roommate. If you make a mistake, you do not need to go steal another person's baby, another person's idea, another person's gift. It will not work for you. If it's not your child, it is not your child. If it's not your idea, it's not your idea. No matter how you brandish it, no matter how you paint it, no matter how you do whatever with it, if it's not your original idea, it is going to be fake. And we do know that every fake must have a semblance of the original. There are lots of people that are walking around the world with the child of other people, with the ideas and the gifts and the things that others were supposed to do. They stole it, and they know within them that this is not my child. And so Solomon said, though no one was there, now I cannot tell. Therefore give me a sword. And they brought a sword, and he gave an order, cut the child in two, give half to each woman. And the other woman was like, yes, cut it. I don't want it, you won't have it, and I won't have it. But the mother was deeply in love with her child, and she said, no, let her go with the child. Give the living child to her. Folks, if you have an original idea and vision and gift from God, you will not be afraid of somebody taking it from you. You will not struggle over it. It will not be a matter of life and death for you. She said, let the living child go. I want the child alive. When he grows up, he will know his mother. When the child grows up, wherever he grows up from, I know that I will know my child. And so while the other one is ready to spoil everything, there are lots of people that if they lose a contract, they pray for the downfall of the company. If they lose admission, they want the school to burn down. If they lose a position in government, they want the government to fail. If they lose a position in the company, they want the company to close down. Just because they couldn't get their interest satisfied. But this woman was like, let the living child stay alive. Don't kill it. But the other one is ready to kill it. She already made the first child to die. Now she does not even care if the second one dies also. People are ready to run a whole country to the ground if their interest is no longer satisfied, if their interest is no longer met. And because she said that, Solomon was that, stop, give the living child to this woman. She is the mother. Folks, protect what belongs to you, but not to the extent of killing everything if you lose what you were supposed to have. There was no need for her to steal. There was no need for her to go take another person's child. There was no need for her to lie about it. There was no need for her to ask for the death of that second baby. She could have come forward and said, I made a mistake. Yes, I killed my baby inadvertently, and seek mercy, and seek restoration, and seek God for forgiveness, and receive a new thing from God. That is what we are supposed to do. But to say, cut the child, let it not be for you and let it not be for me. Neither of us should have it. That is not how we should do things. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you watch over that child that God has given you.